Hello, everyone, and welcome to 20-somethings TV. I'm Rachel. I'm here with Nate, Dan, and Quigs, and there's a lot to talk about this week. So next week is Thanksgiving, which is very exciting, but obviously it's very different with COVID. A lot of people are unsure of what they're doing. Plans are being canceled. People are still going through with their Thanksgiving plans. So Nate, could you tell us a little about how it's changed this year?
Yeah, so as we go into next week here at URI and everywhere else around the country for colleges, students are going home to spend time with their families for Thanksgiving. But it seems like with the rest of what's been going on with COVID, it seems like some schools are being different in what they're wanting to do. So at URI, obviously, the students on campus are going to go home, and then they're going to stay there until the beginning of next semester in order to not have everyone come back. And then possibly some people have it, some people don't. They want to contain the spread that way. But some students in different places are, they're not going home at all for the holidays. They're just saying, all right, we're going to keep you here at school. You can't go home. Some students are going to come back. It's all really different, and there's different risks involved, including, some people could have older family members, or you could be traveling on like a airplane if you live far away. So there's different things going on with different students who go to different schools and how different schools are handling it. So what's everyone doing for Thanksgiving?
I personally will be having a small gathering this year that includes a lot less than the normal amount of people. Normally we'd invite aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. But this year I'd be surprised if maybe a couple of my aunts showed up, but like all we really plan on doing is meeting with our immediate family and kind of keeping our numbers down so that we're not exposing ourselves to too many people that we haven't seen in a while. But I definitely think that we're one family that's doing that, but there could be others who still plan on having the same big gathering because it's kind of like a traditional thing for some families.
I usually have a Thanksgiving of at least like 25 or 30, but this year it's just going to be my mom and my sister and the dog and the cat. And I'm not that bothered by it. I mean, it's really nice to see family at Thanksgiving, but I'll be happier to see my family like at a Thanksgiving where we don't have to worry about this. So I'm fine with just like chilling at home for now.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to Michigan, which is a hot state, so I'm gonna have to quarantine when I come back. But so we were planning on doing, a typical Thanksgiving with a few families until last week when Michigan actually just went into lockdown. I just found out, like, they just went back into lockdown for a few weeks, so now it's just my immediate family again. I do still feel kind of guilty, like, traveling that far, because I have been very cautious and safe, but like when I tell people I'm traveling and going on a plane, I get very weird looks, but that's where my family is, and I haven't seen like my mom for a really long time, so I'm gonna go through with it. I'm gonna be as safe as possible, but I know it's a big risk for me to take.
Yeah, for me, it's just going to be me, my parents, and my grandmother. And my grandmother lives right next door anyway. So it's not like anyone's traveling very far, and it's just a few people anyway. So it's not that bad.
Are you all getting tested before you go to your families?
I just got tested today, so just wait on that.
Yeah, I got a test the last Friday, but I still plan on getting tested again before I go home.
I wasn't planning on getting tested.
I'm getting tested this Friday, and I might again Monday, but depends, not sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely weird having to think about doing stuff like that before going home for Thanksgiving. But it's a new world we're living in, and I guess we just got to kind of like adapt and do everything we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving this year. It is the season of giving, as weird as it may be. Speaking of giving, in New York City, there has been a new LGBTQ housing complex built for the LGBTQ community. Dan, can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so kind of what attracted me to this is that it's the first of its kind. It's the first owned and operated, designated by and for the LGBTQ community. And it's located in Woodhaven, Queens, New York. I mean, it was bought by Cheyenne Dorsha. She's a woman. She's the head of the organization Glitz, which is gay and lesbians living in a transgendered society. And so this has been a 30-year-old dream for her. She finally realized it this year. Her real goal with this is to provide the LGBTQ community with a safe place to live and resources to help themselves in the world that we're living in today. And really, it's just her work is all designated towards helping LGBTQ members find a safe place where they feel secure. And so, I mean, this was a very inspiring piece for me. I really like to see that like somebody in the LGBTQ community has been able to step up and do this for her peers. But I mean, it also raised the question for me that this a positive thing that this woman was able to do this and that she can make a housing complex especially dedicated towards LGBTQ members, or is it kind of like a mark of the lack of progress we've made where we do need to make safe places for LGBTQ members where they can't live in the same places as everyone else? So I guess that's the question I have for everyone.
Well, I think that, it's actually shows that we've come a long way. Just, look at how long you said that she's been trying to do this, is like 25 to 30 years, right? And, gay marriage hasn't been around for that long. So she's been trying to do this for a long time, finally gets to do it. And I think it's a very positive thing for those people to have.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. I think that's good. How about you, Rachel?
It is a really good thing, and I'm glad it's there. But like you said, like initial reaction is like, oh, that's awesome. They can have their own community and be safe. But there is those underlying aspects of, oh, like it had to happen in the first place. It had to happen where they are, like regular communities are unsafe for them. So it is just like those systemic underlying issues that are just like so hard to change. I mean, this is a step in the right direction, but it's like there's a lot more to do to like make sure they're safe everywhere.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't as severe as this, but it kind of brought me to like segregation and like kind of why do we need to live in separate places to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just like that was one of the more like thought-provoking parts of it. How about you, Quigs?
I think like obviously it would be great if we didn't have to have like a kind of segregated situation like this and we could all just coexist, as they say. But this is the world that we live in right now. So I think it's honestly a really good thing that there's like a place specially dedicated to LGBT people, run by LGBT people, LGBT people. Because I mean, we've been taking care of each other for so long, just decades. So to see it actually, like the fact that we do become each other's family and take care of each other, to have it on display like this, like officially, I think it's a nice thing.
Yeah, no, regardless what it says about society, I still believe it's a huge step for the LGBTQ community, and I'm really happy to see that things are starting to go this way. So that definitely was one of the top stories I saw this week.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing in the end. Safety is obviously what's on everyone's minds this year. So yeah, that's being built in New York City, and also in New York City, the schools are going to be closing soon, or they may be closing soon. I guess all the COVID cases in New York City are rising, like they were back in like the beginning of quarantine when that was like the craziest place to be. And kids are at lower risk of like being truly affected by the virus, but it's also a high risk of spreading. So it's kind of interesting because like they're safe, but like bringing it home to their parents is what makes it unsafe. So schools are slowly closing. Like I said, Michigan just went into lockdown for a few weeks. Their schools are closed as well. So I guess I'll ask you guys, do you think there's any way to make schools safe? Nate, I'll start with you.
I think that schools are doing what they can to stay safe. What I have a problem with more is that, you're talking about shutting schools down before shutting restaurants down. I think that I like going out to eat as much as anyone, but school is definitely more important on the list of priorities and essential things. And I just think that, it's more important for the kids to go to school more than that, or doing less essential things that wouldn't be closed.
I completely agree with you, Nate, that school's obviously way more important than restaurants, but there's the thought in my head that maybe school is just more dangerous than restaurants because you're in the contained space for so long that I can see maybe the reason they haven't shut down restaurants yet is just okay, you're in there for a few hours tops, but school is mandatory 7 hours in this building with all these other kids, way more than are going to be in a restaurant. So I mean,
that's true, but with a restaurant, you're also taking off your mask because you have to eat. So
you got me there.
Or you don't have to take off your mask, so that might be a problem too. It might be why it spreads more easily.
True, but lunchtime too. I mean, overall, I was shocked honestly when schools started opening so early. So it's upsetting, but I'm not surprised that we're here where we have to go back to kids not being able to get their proper education.
Yeah, no, I think that restaurants and schools, I definitely like that comparison. Like, why did it happen this way? I think restaurants also have guidelines on how to reopen, whereas I never really I'm not a teacher or anything, so I don't know if these guidelines would ever be released to the general public, but I didn't see much on how schools were really guided to reopen. But really with the school situation I came from, it wasn't even a big school, but just thinking about walking through those crowded hallways shoulder to shoulder with, I don't know, up to 150 kids at a time, it's just I don't really see how that environment could ever be safe in a global pandemic. So really I agree with it to an extent and keeping people safe, but I definitely agree with the fact that school is a lot more important than eating out, and I think that they probably should look a little bit deeper into the guidelines of how they can do it safely in regards to school than really just looking at how they can make all the commercial industries out there safe.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely interesting. That reminds me of how this pandemic is kind of just exposing all these underlying issues in all systems of society. Like you were saying, how there may not be guidelines for schools, which you're right. I've heard of a lot of younger schools, elementary schools, they don't have many guidelines on how to do this. I've seen teachers posting about being we're left with nothing. They barely told us what to do. Just in general, they don't get proper supplies. So I've heard that there's not much safety in those elementary schools because they think it's low risk of danger, but spreading is worse. So
yeah, I mean, you can't really count on, the younger the kids get, the less you can count on them to follow the COVID guidelines, really. So it's just you might be able to trust that high schoolers will wear their masks the whole time, but I mean, you can't really ask a kindergartner to wear a mask all day. It's hard to do, really.
Especially when they might not know what's going on anyway. They might not understand why they have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kids are hard to control. So I guess we can never go an episode without talking about politics, obviously, in the year of the election. So Michelle Obama actually just posted on Instagram the other day about a peaceful transfer of power and kind of criticizing how Trump is dealing with this year's election. Quigs, could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, no problem. Basically, Michelle Obama came out and was criticizing the Trump administration for the obviously not very graceful way that they're dealing with this transfer of power. And she was specifically mentioned how hard it was for her since Trump had made racist attacks against her husband to be gracious and welcoming and friendly to the Trumps. But she said that she put that aside because she knew for the good of the country she had to. But I was just kind of thinking to myself lately, I've been I kind of wish, and you guys might feel totally differently, but I kind of wish that the Obamas had been a little bit more ungracious towards the Trumps. I don't know. It was Trump came into the presidency and Obama immediately went on vacation to Palm Springs. And it's silly because of course this is just his job, but I know personally I felt a little like abandoned in a way. I was like, this big bad man is now in power and Obama is just on the beach. So I don't know, how did you guys feel about it? Or do you completely disagree? Do you think that being as gracious as possible is the best course?
I mean, I don't really know what you could have done if you're Obama, and I should watch his 60 Minutes interview because I haven't done that yet, but apparently he goes into all the unrest in the country right now. Um, but I think it shows that he had a lot of class. He invited the Trumps to the White House. He was very gracious to them. And even though he most likely down deep hated it, he was still a man of class. He didn't want Trump to win. They had their back and forth, but he still, let him be the next president, which is not what Trump is doing right now for Biden. So it definitely shows that I think that the Obamas really looked at it like, there's not much we can do anyway. Let's just see how he does. And really, they just let whatever happened happen.
Looking back on it, I feel like, they, like the Obamas, they are classy. We know that. Like, they're very kind and gracious and everything. And looking back, I'd probably be like, God, I wish they were more cutthroat. But I think in that moment, a lot of people, like, I underestimated the severity of Trump's administration and how much danger they did do to the country in many ways. So like I don't think they realized how bad he could have been. They probably knew more than I do as when I was 16 at the time, but I don't think I would have been as cutthroat in the moment because I didn't think it'd be this bad, It's kind of difficult, but I'm not in their position. I'm not the president.
I think that the Obama administration definitely, they tried to do things to help the Trump administration kind of transition. The Trump administration also didn't go forward with a lot of those things. They were refusing to meet with the Obamas in some instances. And really, I remember a little bit of it back then, and that was kind of like, that made me mad a little. I was like, why won't you just work with him to establish where we're at and move on, move forward, help the country? But and then now with Trump really claiming that the election's fraud, won't even concede to Biden. I think that this is a true mark of the two severe ends of the presidency, how far you can go in either direction, because the Obamas tried to be gracious even when they were not met with the same. And then Trump has really been Biden has attacked him like all political candidates do, but he's never been discriminative, racist, anything like that towards Trump. So it's the fact that Trump can't find any graciousness in this definitely speaks more to his character, I think, than a lot of the things he's done, even when he was here for the past 4 years.
Yeah, it really shows that there hasn't been much emotional growth in 4 years, it seems. He's dealing with this the exact same way he did before, just the opposite.
Yeah,
no, just lawsuits. Billionaire temper tantrum. But also with him being the incumbent, the Obama administration transferring power over, they didn't have a choice. Really, those are two different instances as well. Incumbents rarely lose, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm glad Michelle Obama put out that statement on Instagram. I think it was very well said, gracious, like the same word we've been saying to describe her and the family. It's just they keep things professional, and I think it's great. So we're going to end today's episode on a very positive note. There has been a panda that was born on August 21st, 2020 at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. And the zoo is asking the public for helps on how to decide the name of the panda. The panda is known to excel at napping, nursing, and cuddling with his mother, Li Zhang. And so the zoo is working with Chinese partners and those who know the pandas well from their origin countries to figure out a new name. So there's a list that the zoo put out of Chinese names that have happy meanings to them. So first name, Fuzai, means prosperous boy, and I'm gonna ask you guys which ones you would choose if you were to name the panda and vote. So Fuzai means prosperous boy, Zhao Qi Ji means little miracle, Xing Fu means happy and prosperous, and Zai Zai is just a nickname for a little boy. So I'm gonna ask you guys, I think I would choose Xiao Qi Ji, meaning little miracle. So what would you guys choose if you were to name this new panda in Washington, D.C.?
I think I'm going Jing 2. What was it? Prosperous and happy?
Happy and
like
prosperous, Xing
Happy.
Fu. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we need. I'm manifesting that in 2021 with this panda.
I like that one too. It gives off good vibes, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I like the happy and prosperous one. There was another one. I like the last one, just like it was called like little boy or something.
Mm-hmm. Zai Zai.
Zai Zai. I like Zai Zai. I think that has a good ring to it, even though the deeper connotation really isn't there. I like Zai Zai. I think that'd be a cute panda name.
Yeah, so there's literally a poll on the website of the National Zoo in DC where the public can just choose whatever name they want, and whatever name wins, is the panda's name. And they chose these names because it reflects the happiness that people share for the young panda, which is very nice in their quotes. The panda is 12 weeks old now, coming in at 9.2 pounds in 21.26 inches. And there's actually a live camera that you can watch the panda and the mom just play around 24/7. Just watch the panda. So on that note, we hope the panda lives a great life, doesn't know all the chaos that's happening in our country, but I'm glad we talked about a lot of topics today, and we will see everyone next week. I'm Rachel with Nate, Dan, and Quigs. See you next week.